I'm Vadim, and I'm the co-founder of sPark. sPark is a cloud-based parking management solution which strives to transform any parking lot into a smart parking lot and also help drivers find an empty parking space. In big cities, we have a major problem. In Romania, for the past few years, the number of registered cars has increased steadily with up to 60% each year. That's causing a lot of traffic cause pollution. So as a consequence to this, raising the number of registered cars, we have 30% of all of the traffic cause pollution is caused by the parking searching process. Also, drivers waste more than 12 hours each year in search for an empty parking space. That's why we are aiming to obtain the attention of the city administrations, enterprises, and private parking lot administrators in order to implement sPark and make the urban life more enjoyable while also generating revenue for our clients. How does that work? Well, we use only the video data that comes from the feed that the surveillance cameras mounted in the private parking lots will provide us. And using artificial intelligence, computer vision, and statistics, we analyze that feed and we understand how the parking space is organized, and we learn the topography and the driver behavior. So then in real time, we can provide through our mobile application how, where and when the parking space is available. The parking lot administrators have the possibility of using our web platform and monitor in real time the performance of their parking lot. That's when it comes to revenue, availability, and which parking spaces are the most used. This solution costs a bit under €5 per parking space per month. And we are striving that in 3 years we will be technically able to process 50,000 parking spaces. That's a bit less than 10% out of the total available market, which is 650,000 parking spaces in Romania in the top 15 cities. Our competition is steps behind because we have the technological advancement, and that's because our solution self-adapts and self-learns how people use your parking lot. And when there are changes in the topography of the parking lot, it learns those changes. Our team consists of myself and my co-founder Zoltan, and with a couple of consultants, we are confident that we can bring this technological advancement in the term of smart cities. Our MVP was validated with companies like Bosch, Sony, and Siemens, for whom we have prototyped before. And together with Iceberg, we are striving to bring this technology in the cities of Romania. We have raised more than 40,000 euros, and we are striving to raise 150,000 euros more to achieve this goal of ours of processing 50,000 parking spaces in Romania. Thank you, that's it. Now questions if you have.
We will have, after the 5 minutes of each and everyone's pitch, another 5 minutes that you can join of questions and hopefully answers from the jury members. Questions from the jury members, answers from Vadim and each and every project. Yeah? Because you already had, or you still have part of your minute, if you do want to clap more for Vadim because he broke the ice tonight, do that until I get the jury members another mic to shout out their questions. Thank you, Vadim, once more. Thanks. So, to whom am I handing the mic to start the Q&A?
Quick question. The 650,000 parking lots in Romania.
Parking spaces.
Parking spaces, sorry. Is a growing market or it will shrink?
Um, could you repeat that question, please?
Is it a growing market or will it shrink?
Oh, it is growing, and the demand is also growing each year, because the number of cars that come registered in the traffic increases each year. So cities are taking the responsibility of creating more parking lots and more parking spaces each year.
Congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
presentation. It happens that I recently saw a similar business in the United States, and they also consider it to be a very big market. So after the presentations, if you want to have a chat to tell you about their struggles, I'll gladly say that. Glad to share that. My question to you is, I see you are using the cameras of the parking lots, but not all cameras have the same quality. How are your algorithms adapting to that? How do you work with that?
Yeah, sure. So a minimum requirement for our solution is a HD camera. So not full HD, but at least HD cameras. So it might not work properly with VGA cameras.
And for example, in Brasov, how many parking lots have a HD camera?
4, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Hi, I'm advisor at a UK-based startup that has the computer vision technology for other use cases, and the problem with the cameras is a real one. My question is, who is the customer? Because you mentioned public sector,
Yes.
or private, or both, or who do you start with? And second question is, how big is, on average, a public or a private parking lot?
Okay, so our clients is basically any entity which holds or administrates a parking lot. That could be an enterprise which has a major parking lot. That can be a private parking lot, which there are plenty in the city. And the majority of the parking spaces are administrated by the city administration. So the public sector will be our major client.
Are you selling directly to whom?
Well, we tried selling directly to public administrations. That didn't work, and we are trying to sell directly to private parking lot administrators.
Did you consider partnering with the automation provider for the?
Yes, we have prototype with Bosch, and that was the incentive behind that collaboration, because they wanted to provide a camera which also is capable of providing smart parking in their cities, for which they sell a lot of cameras for surveillance purposes.
Okay.
I believe there's a question behind my colleague's first question. And the question very well in behind is, where do you plan to scale? Because Romania, I mean, if everything goes well and you have answers to all the questions, you will expand to all the cities in Romania in, I don't know, 3-4 years. Where will you go next? Taking account that in other countries, there's not a tendency to grow the number of parking spaces, but rather to use car sharing and public transportation. So question is, where do you plan to expand, taking into account this global tendency? Or do you plan to provide other benefits to paying clients based on the same technology on markets you would expand to?
Yes, that's a really good question, actually. Well, up until now, we have made it important to scale in Romania, because that's a market that we can attain, but we don't have the resources to move internationally. But we would like to scale to other European countries. We have worked with accelerators in Czech Republic, which are also interested in smart city solutions which concern private parking, smart parking. But we didn't think as much of growing internationally yet.
You mentioned that you have around €5 revenue per parking space. You have a cost for this parking space?
Yeah, well, the cost for processing that data comes from the cloud processing solutions, which basically provide a processing unit for which you pay on demand. So we pay approximately €1 per parking space to be processed per month.